We can decide it right now. Welcome to Hey Assbutt.
Welcome. Yeah, we don't have. We need to. I think we should start every episode by counting off in French, going 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow.
True.
Just like the count-in song.
That's in English.
No, it's in multiple languages.
Oh, you're right.
It's even in sign language.
Okay. Well, I don't speak sign language.
I think we should count off.
Get it? Travis just did this thing with his hands that was poignant and hilarious.
What is 1, 2, 3 in German? Is it 1, 2, 3?
Yes.
Here's the thing. I don't know.
It can be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1.
Yeah, we do it in English, Spanish, French, Hebrew.
I think we should.
Although
make
in
clear.
Hebrew we only do it we only count to 3.
Yeah.
Because it's like ba ba, and then 3 is salosh, but because salosh is 2 syllables, it kind of it just makes it 1, 2, 3,
4
and then
secretly.
4 secretly.
Yeah, I get that. 4 syllables. So I think we should make this clear. The count-in song is your and your band's.
Yeah, so my band Evan Roulette and the Evan Roulettes,
Which I believe will have CDs
one
day.
Who knows?
An album of
Eventually,
some sort.
yeah.
So you guys should check that out whenever that happens.
Yeah, so we do this thing when we've only done it once so far, but we're probably going to do it again because it's hilarious. Or at least Evan and I think it's hilarious. We basically like act like we're going to start a song, and then we do a count-in, and then we hit a impact, and then we just like back off. And then we do another count-in in a different language.
So, fun fact, Evan is actually Evan Roulette of the Evan Roulette and the Evan Roulettes.
Yeah.
It is not a Pink Floyd situation where you have to go up and be like, so who's Floyd?
So
like,
which one's pink?
Oh, right,
so
yeah.
which one's pink? We
So
know
who's Leonard?
Yeah. So who's Leonard? Who's Lep? That one never gets said.
Yeah.
Which one of you is Arrow?
Which one of you?
But yeah, like...
which one of you is 4 right now?
The band is named Evan Roulette and the Evan Roulettes because Evan Roulette is very narcissistic.
He's the head.
Yeah, that's bad. And like,
if you cut off the head, 3 more will
not
grow.
only are we like the other band members, are we the other Evan Roulettes? We also have to dress like him.
Yeah, which is horrific. I think we can all agree. Okay. Evan, fight me. Evan, if you're listening, which I know you do, fucking fight me. Also, Cougar Town on Netflix 2018.
Of course.
All right, we're gonna have a pay-per-view event. I'm working on the paperwork right now. Kobler versus Roulette. The odds go 5-4.
To Kobler?
I'm not gonna say.
Well,
oh my God, Ben, you're betting against me? I thought you were my friend.
No, I'm not betting against
Evan
you. I'm the
is
one
quoted-
picking the bets.
Oh.
Evan is quoted to be able to fight any bear, so I think he could take
Yeah,
you.
gay bears maybe.
No,
Oh.
like real bears.
Okay, he could fight a bear. That is potentially true, but has he
Yes.
done it yet?
No, but he's going to.
Then I still think
eventually.
I could take him in a fight.
He has a list of bears he's gonna fight.
What are their names?
I don't know.
First one, Grizzly Adams.
Steven and Bobo.
Stephen and Popo.
Oh my
Diddy.
God.
No, wait,
Racist.
Diddy's.
Stephen and Popo. All right, Evan, here's the thing. I will also fight a large predator.
Okay.
I'm already willing to fight a mountain lion.
That is true. If you haven't listened to episode 2, you
think
can
it's episode
go.
1, actually.
Oh, that's episode
Yeah.
1. Oh shit.
Yeah.
If you go back and listen to our very first episode, it's titled "How to Kill a Mountain Lion."
Yeah, and I will
you
say
learn
I'm
how
willing to learn one.
You learn how to kill a
So
mountain
I feel
lion
like
within the first 10
Evan
minutes
and I
of the
are
episode.
evenly matched in
I
that
don't
we
know.
both have an animal we want to fight.
I will say you're definitely more gay than Evan, so you have the advantage there.
That's true.
Shots fired.
I do have +2 in personality because of that. Boom, bitch. Just kidding. Evan has a very strong personality, and
He
I,
does.
unlike others, would never accuse somebody of having no personality when they so clearly do.
Jesus Christ.
That's an inside joke, which are great to do on podcasts. I don't know if you know.
That
Yeah,
was
they're
the most
they're
inside
fantastic.
baseball thing ever.
Yep, way to go. So now that Ari's not sitting at the table right now, let's talk about how crazy she is or something, even though she can still hear me. I mean, I'm whispering this.
God damn. How crazy is Ari?
Super
Crazy.
Super crazy. She has like 2 cats.
Yeah, but there's 3 between the 2 of you.
Travis,
Yo.
I know where you sleep.
Oh, fuck. She can hear us the whole time.
You're also like half deaf. That's gonna be like, I don't know, at least 0.5 easier to make things, or 1.5.
Yeah.
Travis, I can read lips.
Oh.
Everybody gets a 1.5 boost to stealth around you.
Yeah, that is true.
So, I would like to talk about a project that I've been working on that I'm very excited about.
What's that?
It's called Not
Hey,
Another.
Assbutt.
Well, that. But even more excited, it's called Not Another Lesbian Movie, the trailer, where myself and some friends act out a stereotypical lesbian movie.
Is this just not another teen movie, but only with women?
Exactly.
Yeah,
well,
basically.
it's with queer women movies.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about ideas for this last night.
Yes.
Oh,
So
that was
I'm giving
much
myself
fun.
an ending date where I have to have something filmed by the time this episode comes out.
Okay, perfect.
That's what I'm doing. But so it includes such lines as, I've never felt this way with anyone before.
I can't fight this feeling.
Oh, wait,
Yeah. Stuff like,
Oh, what was it? Oh, but we're both girls.
but we're both girls. The line, so you like her, so you're bisexual. No, it's just her. The line, what's another one? Girl, before you touch me, you better clip those fingernails.
Yes. That one was mine.
Yes, it was. It was hilarious. Mostly because it is a surprising amount of people who have goddamn claws
Yeah.
when they're getting down to lady business fucking. It's like, or, vagina fucking, not lady
like how we're
business.
both
You know what I'm
checking our
saying?
I
fingers.
actually cut my fingernails, too.
Oh, girl, I cut my fingernails too.
I just
Mine don't
bite
look as
mine
pretty
like
as
a man.
yours.
That's because I painted mine a lovely lilac.
I need to go get a manicure so my fingernails will match my toenails.
Yes. Oh,
Which-
tell us about your manicure or pedicure, I guess.
It was, according to my aunt and cousins, that place was not very good at pedicures.
Do your aunt and cousins live in Texas?
Yes.
They know what's up.
And they get a lot of pedicures.
You got a pedicure. I want to make this clear. Travis got his feet fucked by fish.
No, that's not what happened.
Wait, that's not what happened?
No.
That's what the pictures looked like.
That is not. No, it was just like a warm water bath with lights in it.
Damn it. I really want to go get my feet fucked by
when
fish.
I was in Greece,
Yeah.
they had that. You could sit in a chair and have some fucking fish eat your feet.
Okay, these are the waters I want to be in like the next couple of years. The very clear lakes in Montana.
Uh-huh.
A place where fish eat my feet.
Mm-hmm.
A Turkish bath.
Okay.
An onsen.
What is that?
A hot spring.
Oh, yeah. I definitely want to go to a hot spring.
Those are the bodies of water I want to be in like the next couple of years. I've been to oceans, I've been to creeks,
Yeah.
I've been to rivers and river valleys, and
The easiest things would be you put a lot of coffee in there.
I'm a coffee fiend.
Sorry.
I'm very tired.
But like you could go to a Turkish bath and
Mm-hmm.
probably have your feet fucked by fish like within 50 miles.
Yeah, I can see that.
And now all I have to
'Cause
do
that
is get
was-
to Turkey.
Because that was like a Mediterranean thing. We saw that a lot in like the Mediterranean, like the tourist traps in those port cities.
I feel like I could go to a hot spring and be close to the fish fucking thing as well.
Yeah, probably.
We are using a crazy phrase to describe when fish eat
Yeah.
dead skin cells off your feet.
Yeah.
Somebody skip to like minute X of this video.
Yes.
Can
Podcast.
we just tell you?
Yeah.
This episode's called Feet Fucking.
Feet fucking.
Yeah,
Ooh.
feet fish fucking.
Thank God we've got that explicit rating, my
yeah.
friends.
I don't know. I'm still worried. I'm still wary about putting curse words in the.
Fish fucking feet. That's what
I know
it
the
is.
show's name is Hey Assbutt, but
That's
let
the
them
craziest
standards.
thing.
And hey ass butt.
Yeah.
we have stand.
At hey, butt the ass.
We don't just put curse words in our episode titles.
This ain't pee pee and poo poo
Look,
cast.
you have to draw a line, which, by the way, I find to be more offensive than fucking ass butt, pee pee and poo poo cast. What are you, a child? Is a child listening to this podcast? It's very uncomfortable.
I mean, we are talking about supernatural, so the potential for that is very high.
I drew a line for you.
Do we have to draw a line? The line.
There
in the
it is.
sand?
You have to draw a line in the sand.
You got there, buddy. You got there with us, and I'm proud of you.
You gotta say, what am I willing to put up with today?
Yes, and one of those things is not
fucking
curse
this.
words.
Okay, I'm gonna take us on a tangent because that's what the T's stand for.
Sure.
So one of my favorite, like sometimes I'll just throw out a line. At the show last night, I threw out one of my current favorite lines. It was just off the cuff. I did my, so everybody's talking about the looking for a well-done abortion. But I think that's too crispy. And there was slow burn on it.
Oh, that's good.
And I pointed it out, and I was like, that's more of a slow broil, I guess.
Oh my God, there's this amazing Tumblr post right now, and fuck me, I'm not gonna look it up, and I don't remember who wrote it.
It's gonna be impossible to find.
Yeah, it's gonna be impossible to find. But it's like, why would you want why would the witches who own, like, you know...
Oh, yeah, why do the
cottages,
witches always fatten up the kids
Yeah, why do they want to
first?
fatten up kids? Why aren't they like, we're getting lean and mean today, Bradley? And there were some amazing answers.
Yeah, there was like, because it tastes better.
Yeah. Fat as it tastes good. These kids are probably going to be broiled because, you know, you usually see like ovens and stoves in these places.
Yeah.
Child is not being grilled today. You know what I mean? Also, I think a kid would be kind of, I guess an adult would be tougher.
I think kid meat would be stringier.
It'd be like veal.
Yeah. It would be like veal, which is stringy.
Let's talk about what human meat would be like if we just started butchering people. It smells like pig when it's being like
cooked,
burned.
Hypothetically.
Yeah. So did y'all think that was chicken I fed you earlier?
You didn't.
He gave
and
us
so
the
soon
taste.
after my birthday, thank you. You know I've been wanting to try.
We both had different reactions. Okay, the title of this episode is actually going to be called Ben Makes Us Cannibals.
Or what if it's, can we go a little abstract and be like, you gave us the forbidden taste / thank you?
Yes.
How did you know?
Forbidden fruit cast.
Forbidden fruit. That's, people are going to think it's about the Tide Pod thing.
We're sponsored by Tide.
Oh, God. Yeah. We're not sponsored by anything. Don't make us liars.
Not yet.
Not yet. We might be.
So... I kind of want to segue into what Travis wants to ask us this week. But I want to segue in through this. What are tiny internet things that you appreciate? Like, I appreciated that Tumblr post about how to cook kids.
I appreciate whenever there are people in comment sections that either start, like, running with each other's jokes or...
I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, they'll be, like, the person who says one thing... and it's like a joke, and then all the replies to it are just the same joke, and you never know what, like, why or what's happening.
Oh, God, you know what the worst goddamn thing is?
No, we're talking about positive things now, Benjamin.
Oh, we're talking about something bad now.
Damn it! He did this earlier. I fucking
hate when you go on a Reddit.
Yeah.
And, like, it's only the second one that hasn't been deleted by the mods.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a giant fucking string of deleted stuff around it. And you're never going to find out what the fuck was said.
Nope.
But no,
but it still shows this.
Yeah.
I saw a post that was like a screenshot of one of those where it's like all deleted, and then it's just like a picture from like an old Western movie, like with a stereotypical Native American, like touching the ground, going, there is a disturbance here. Or like there's a scene like that in Lord of the Rings too.
Yeah.
Like they're just walking and Aragorn kneels down and touches the ground. He's like, there is a battle here. And he's like on the grass.
The Obi-Wan, like, I heard a million voices cry out and then silence would work there as well. Can I talk about a tiny internet thing that I enjoy?
What's that?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a Midwestern mom living inside of me. And she appreciates Pinot Gris and, like, calls it Pinot Gris and goes to Target when she has a little bit of extra spending money.
Does she have a Namaste poster?
She has a Live, Laugh, Love pillow collection.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
I hate this woman inside of you.
She's pretty awful.
Yeah.
And she likes be the type of woman who gets up in the morning so that Satan says not today. And then I like the non-Midwestern mom inside of me, the rest of me, the Ari Kovler you know and love today, likes the get up and say, not today, Satan. And then Satan says, look, is it something that I said? Please, if it's me, let me know. And I want to work on this. Is there something going on, Karen? Why won't you hang out with me? That's a tiny internet thing I appreciate.
Does the woman inside of you like follow the Long Island medium on social media?
No, because she's not from the Northeast. She looks like a Midwestern version of she does like the Long Island medium, and she does watch the Long Island medium. But she also kind of hates the Long Island medium. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I judge this person more or less.
She definitely like... She dresses like one of the lesser-known Food Network TV chefs. Like Sandra Lee. Like, she dresses like semi-homemade what Sandra Lee does. That's what she do. Oh, God. You know, one that's not really a, like, professional chef, so she's not dressed like a professional chef, but one who is more like a, hi, I had a food blog, and they turned it into a Food Network show. She's that person.
Nice.
She's the pioneer woman.
Yeah.
And her name is... you know what? I'm actually not sure. I'll need to think about it. I'll get back to you guys.
Is it one of those, one of those iterations of the Ackland names? Or
like...
Jacqueline, Bracklin.
Oh, no, it's not that. Because she's not from the South.
Cacklin.
It's like...
I would name a cat Cacklin, now that I think about it.
It's like Louise.
Yeah.
It's like Louise.
Okay. There's only one good Louise.
Louise Belcher?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the ears.
What about Louis the 16th? Just kidding. He was not good.
We said Louise, not Louis.
Okay, so what tiny internet thing do you like, Ben?
Oh, God. Let me pull up something. It's kind of niche, but I thoroughly love it when, like, a little, like, mini fandom of, like, let's say, like, an LP channel or, like, a streamer. All right, Bacon Raider's acting up on me. Like, they just say something very innocuous, and it's just, like, a throwaway joke. But then the fandom just runs away, or just takes it and fucking runs with it and makes it a part of the fucking lore of the channel. I love shit like that.
Yeah, I can dig it.
That may be too big for what you were asking me.
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
Travis?
Yeah, so speaking of internet stuff, we're going back in time to when we were 12 years old.
So yesterday.
What? Yes. What were some of the first things you did on the internet as a child, teenager?
I remember, like, when I was a kid, I played a lot on, like, the Lego website.
Yeah!
I didn't go to, like, the Disney website. I went to, like, Legos, bonus.com, I Win, stuff like that.
I would go to the Garfield website.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I would go to the Gorillas website. I remember telling you about that on our trip to Florida.
That was fun.
The Gorillas website was so much fun back in the day.
Do you remember the game where you had to fit the stuff in the suitcase? And it was like the RE4 item management system? God damn. I could never find that game.
I also liked the one where you had to, like, cut open Murdoch and take his organs out.
What'd you do?
Like the A-Team?
No. Murdoch from Gorillas. That's the bassist name. Yeah.
Tiny things I like to do on the internet when I was a tiny child. This probably wasn't the first thing I ever really did on the internet, but it's one of the first things I found by myself on the internet, and also the thing that stands out the most, and that is 100% fan fiction.
Yeah.
Specifically, Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan fiction. From when I was like 11, 12.
I was going to say color me unsurprised.
Yeah, it's not that shocking when you know how much I fucking love fan fiction. But...
I feel like our listeners...
And how much I love Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Which is a show I have seen in this past decade. So... Don't do that to me.
We are 8 years into this decade, so...
Yes. So it's been probably at least 8 years.
It's so bad.
The Japanese version is not that. It's not great.
Yeah, the Japanese version. Totally different, though.
Yeah, it's very different. First of all, the music is way better. So much better. And the voice acting is better. Even though I do love the English voice actors.
To listen to the music, but I'm not going to sit down and watch it.
No, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put anybody else through Yu-Gi-Oh! Although I do think it is a weird show.
Yeah.
It's strange and yet so typical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's my answer. Specifically Yu-Gi-Oh! Fanfiction.
Nice.
What did you do when you were a child?
So when I was like a tiny child, I would do things like go to CartoonNetwork.com and play the games on there.
That was fun too.
And do stuff like that. That was kind of when I was still under like adult supervision with a computer.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 13, I kind of had this. It was literally on the birthday of my 13th birthday, or like the month of my I had just turned 13, and it was right around the time when my parents were like more okay with me leaving me in the house by myself and like making sure my sister was okay and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically because Toonami was having this thing called Month of Miyazaki, where they would play a Miyazaki movie every night. And Princess Mononoke was on, actually. And I was very surprised because I was like, this is a very violent movie. Why is it on Cartoon Network? But I was super into like Zelda games and stuff. And there was a website I would go to for walkthroughs called ZeldaGuide.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Zelda Guide they also did like a bunch of news about like Twilight Princess was supposed to be coming up and stuff like that.
Oh man.
And
I remember a time before Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
That's how I defined my life.
I was mostly doing
before Zelda, after Zelda.
I was mostly doing a walkthrough for Oracle of Seasons because I had yet to find. I actually have this really awesome like original printed walkthrough of Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages.
Nice.
Where it's flipped. You one side right to left is Oracle of Seasons, and you flip it over, and left to right it's Oracle of Ages.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
It's very cool, and I'm never getting rid of it. I said all the Zelda Guide stuff to say this. On the side of the website, there was a chat box. And the idea of the chat box was supposed to be you ask a question, and whoever is checking out the chat box will like respond to you. People started using it as a chance to basically real-time text-based roleplay.
I'm into this.
And so
Go on.
it all started with this group of people that were like live role playing in the chat box, and they all had like Zelda character names and stuff.
Sexy.
And so I made my name Tattle, one of the fairies from Majora's Mask.
Okay.
And then I just joined into the fray, and it was super fun. And then
you are a nerd.
the people on the Zelda Guide chat box said, hey, there's this like other website place we go to do this. If you want to join us. I was like, hell yes, I do. So you can't find it anymore. That like this company has been shut down. They finally like deleted all their archives and stuff. You may be able to find it on the Wayback Machine, but it was called Piczo.com, and it was PICZO. And the idea was you basically can like create your own kind of website, like LiveJournal or GeoCities or something like that.
Yeah.
So basically we all had our own little page with a chat box in it, and each like person's page was like a different realm and stuff. So, and I have some maps that I drew of what I imagined our big continent looked like.
You have
But yeah.
the giddiest face.
I'm so happy.
Because I just have so many fond memories of like just spending time. That's when I really started spending time on the computer, was when I started doing this role playing thing. And like we all started using like original character names and started like fleshing out stories for people and things. So everyone had like their backstory and their history and all that stuff. And it really gave me an appreciation for like role playing. And I don't do it anymore because I've lost all of my young inspiration.
Travis, one of my favorite things about you is how happy of a person you generally are. But you get this certain glow about you when something truly makes you like the ultimate final level of happy.
Yeah.
And that's what we just saw on Mr. Short's face.
It was great. And I still talk to some of those people. How crazy is that?
That's adorable.
And even crazier is we all wound up being around the same age.
I'm like so the opposite of you as far as my experiences with the internet go.
Yeah.
Because I just made my first internet friend this year.
Right, yeah.
Or this past year. It's very earlier in 2018.
I'm going to just go ahead and say there's like a triangle of different how we interacted with the internet.
Yeah.
Because I am also the opposite of both of you.
Yeah. I feel like Ben and I don't have very similar experiences either.
Yeah.
You know what's one thing that I never did on the internet in those early days?
Is interact with other people.
Well, but part of the reason why is because I never joined like a monthly online game thing. Like I never did Club Penguin or Neopets.
Right.
I never did League of Legends. Wait, that's not the same thing.
No, it's not.
What's that one that's on the internet?
WoW. World of Warcraft.
Well, there's World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
There's another one, too. I've never done anything like that. And I feel like that was very popular for people my age.
Mm-hmm.
EverQuest, KOTOR.
Yeah, I think it was EverQuest. And
RuneScape.
Yeah.
RuneScape, that's what it was. Mostly because I think I was under the impression that most of those you had to pay for.
Right.
And I never even considered asking my parents to pay for that.
Oh, yeah.
Never even crossed my mind.
I was the same way. That's one of the reasons I never got into WoW is because you had to pay for it.
Yeah.
Now, things like RuneScape, you didn't have to pay for.
Oh, okay.
Although
See,
I still never got into RuneScape because instead of doing RuneScape, I was doing my role-playing thing.
Right.
And it very much affected like the way I interact with and approach people on the internet. And I feel like it makes me feel a lot more natural reaching out to someone like that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I've done.
I never did
And I
that.
still have friends that I've met on the internet that I still talk to. They're all on my Discord.
Well, that's awesome.
Like every person that is on my friends list in Discord lives in a different state.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I just never, I don't know. I just never like talked to anybody on the internet. Maybe I heard too many stories about like, girls getting kidnapped or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they were catfished by old men, which I never, really thought would happen to me.
Well, see, that's like I said, I was shocked when I found out like the ages of the other people that I was like role playing with.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was doing it with like some old people because, whatever. But it turned out we were all fucking like 13 and 14. The oldest person was like
37.
Let's put this in a perspective of like being in 7th grade,
Right.
which is when I started doing it. The oldest person had just started 9th grade,
Okay.
and the youngest person was in 6th grade.
So not that much of an age difference
Yeah,
at all.
exactly.
Not crazy. None too crazy. One of the things I did do on the internet when I was a kid, I loved, and this was like mid-internet, I guess, because this was when YouTube was a thing.
Mm.
I used to love old school anime AMVs.
Yeah.
Like I still like them. But I saw a tweet the other day that just took me fucking back, and it was like you were an anime fan, or it was like if your anime AMVs did not have one of their AMVs every time we touch Pai Cascada.
Yeah.
One, did you eat? Was that even an anime? Like, circa, when YouTube was first starting, which took me fucking back because you could not escape that song.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure I could find an old one for you, Hakusho. That's like every time we touch.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just like.
And it's with Hiei and
nostalgia.
Kurama.
Probably. They are fucking married.
I believe that.
Also, the very first OTP I had was Hiei and Kurama. Oh,
of course.
Just nostalgia. Okay, anyways, enough about me. What about you, Ben?
Like, I would go, did you ever go in like a Mini Clips or, what was another one? Candy store, candy shop?
No,
like that?
I would go to addictinggames.com.
That was a fun one,
That was a
too.
good one.
Oh, I did some addicting games.
Yeah, I feel like everyone did.
Yes.
See, I would play like a lot of games online that you could play online, but they weren't like WoW or RuneScape or anything like that. It'd be like billiards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you could play with like foreign motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And, like I would talk to people like that. I spent a lot of time in like AIM chat rooms.
Right.
I
never downloaded AIM, but the people that I like role played with, we all used MSN Messenger.
Yeah. Oh, I never knew anybody that ever used that.
I used MSN Messenger.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brother?
Or AIM. I used both of them.
I never used AIM.
That was actually probably the very first thing I did on the internet by myself. Was Messenger. Probably. Like if I had to, because I think I was like in 4th grade when I got my first AIM account.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fucking young.
That is. Although I remember when I started 4th grade is I moved to a new school and they were all talking to each other on AIM and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Do you guys remember like how back in the day your parents would be like, if you put your natural hair color on the internet, someone will find you and you will die.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's like, fuck you, here's my address, come to this place.
Yeah.
I will meet you there, bring an axe, like that. Like,
I'll have my own.
yes,
Yeah.
I'll have my own. This is a murder party we're going to.
I think that's just how the times change and
Absolutely.
how the use of the internet changes.
There were really good creepypastas about the deep web.
Oh, God.
The deep web. Are we talking about Silk Road?
Deeper than that. But it's just like people would find your IP address and then they would just like send you like a copy of your IP with your like literal home address too.
Yeah.
It's like stuff like that. They're creepy with enough like, what is it? If you don't like lose your realism enough, because I can't think of the actual like story term. Like if you
Poetic disbelief.
yes, like if you do that enough, they're actually kind of creepy and scary. But a lot of them they're just silly. Like if you can't take everything too seriously with a fucking story like that.
Well, it's just kind of like, who wants to murder you?
Everyone, if you're from a small isolationist house.
Sure, but
Yeah.
I mean, like in real life, do you know anybody who like?
No,
No, you don't know anybody who'd murder you. It's always a surprise. But like,
that's the point. Well, unless you pay for it.
I have a couple potential candidates.
I have potential.
Not of people
We
that would
should
murder,
not-
of people that would murder me.
I think
Oh,
Tequila
you
Travis
specifically?
may.
Yeah.
Travis, don't take this the wrong way. Are Ben and I both on that list?
No.
Probably.
Wow, shock and surprise.
I mean,
Somebody who is annoyed by you more than us?
everyone that I potentially interact with, yes, but
Yeah.
no, just because of, I don't know.
Oh, it's because we love you and you know that.
No.
Guys.
It's because I know some people that may or may not have like bodies in their basement already, so.
No, you don't think we're going to murder you because you know we love you.
Sure.
But you always do kill the things you love.
Exactly.
So what was when you had some morbid curiosity? I'm not saying like you were looking for like necrophilia on the internet or anything like that. But like what was like the first site you went to that you knew you weren't supposed to go to?
The Newgrounds 18 section.
Oh hell yeah. Salad Fingers, motherfucker.
Yeah. Salad Fingers wasn't even on the 18 plus section.
Oh, I thought it was.
I'm talking about,
Like the hentai game.
yeah, like the hentai games and
All
stuff.
right.
Okay, I can't answer this question
Why?
because
It's incriminating.
How
incriminating.
Ari
How-
pleads the fifth.
How incriminating is it?
It's not that incriminating.
Is it like 4chan or Ebum's World bad?
No.
Both of which I went to a lot as a child.
I actually have never been like those like classic terrible sites like 4chan or
Okay, there are parts of 4chan that are fun. There are parts of
Yeah.
4chan that are
yeah,
fucking
but like
creepy.
the sites that everybody's like, this is all like child porn and like
Yeah,
snuff films or whatever.
yeah,
Right.
you didn't have a Tor browser when you
Yeah,
were a
like
kid.
yeah, that didn't happen. But I did go to
Bestgore.com.
Yeah.
That's what a friend of mine would go to all the time.
Oh god. You had some fucked up friends.
Yeah.
I did not go to those sites, but I did find porn pretty early. And I got into like hardcore stuff at a very young age.
Oh, I remember. So I was a teacher's kid, So there was a lot of times where we'd be like hanging around at the school, like the week before school started because our moms had to work. So we'd go on the library computers and go to like, are you ready for this URL? boobycruise.com.
Do you remember being in school and having classmate come up to you and be like, hey, put in lemonpartyusa.com?
Oh, yeah. Actually, the one that...
What is that, a political website? Yeah, it is.
I remember the one that went around my class was Shake That Bear.
Is that about gay men, too?
No.
It never is. There's this really great Tumblr post that's like an article, and it's the article, it's a clickbaity article, and the article has a picture of a couple of bears on it, and it says, scientists discover that bears like to perform oral sex on each other. And the comment under it is, sweetie, if you just spent 15 minutes in a sauna, you would know. And then the comment under that is, you spent time with bears in a sauna? And then OP posted, oh, hun.
Man.
So I went to BDSM and Pegs, which brought me to basically any kink.com affiliate.
Is this the incriminating?
Yeah, I mean it's a little embarrassing, I think.
Oh yeah, because you have an aunt that listens to this, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just turn it down really. I'm not going to cut it out. I'll just lower the volume really low.
Thank you.
So
She's
people
not
have to
deaf,
listen.
so I don't know how that'll help, but thank you. She no, so here's what happened with me. It literally was like, at one point I was uncomfortable seeing a penis in real life, and then it just barreled into craziness. Yeah. And now I am fine with anything except for murder and underage stuff.
Yeah.
And anal gaping. Freaks me out. Yeah. But other than those three things, I'm pretty whatever.
Rosebud.
No.
My favorite Citizen. That was the. Oh God. I'm proud of that Citizen Kane reference.
Yeah, 2004, around the time I was watching Supernatural for the first time, that version of Ari, who was going by a very different name, would absolutely not have a podcast where she discusses personal stories on the internet.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not even close or at all.
What was your... I'm not going to ask you what your handle was specifically. That's too rude of a question to ask. What was it based on?
My what?
You're in it.
The very first username you ever used. It was a Yu Yu Hakusho thing, I bet.
It wasn't. It was even worse.
Inuyasha.
Yes.
Oh!
My very first email and my very first username were Inuyasha references.
I'm thoroughly excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that it wasn't Inuyasha.
What, my handle and my...
Yeah, I'm going to guess that it wasn't specifically Inuyasha.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the name.
But it was
none of the names.
Inuyasha based.
It was more niche.
It was definitely a reference, but you could not tell by reading it. Yeah. Unless you had seen Inuyasha.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I was a super pretentious child.
Oh, I find that hard to believe.
Mine was, I'm not going to say what languages, but it was Grim Reaper in various languages.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh.
What an edgelord.
My God.
Edgelord Ben.
Oh. My God. Milady.
I was never that.
No, I know, but that's kind of like the Miladies are today started out as the...
Yeah, that's how it started.
The word Grim Reaper or the phrase Grim Reaper in different languages. Like, you are lucky, Ben. It could have been worse. Thank God you have an older sister. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I attribute that to.
Yeah.
You've never met my sister, have you?
I know, but I already like her. So
y'all would get along.
I believe that 100%.
Travis, she'd probably smack you in the... I'm fucking with
you.
Yeah. And that's why I like her even more.
My very first, I used it for a long time because I was so attached to it, but it was it's actually, I sent our listeners on a Easter egg hunt for it back in an episode.
Oh yeah.
I want to say episode 13 or 14 like that. I told him to go find it on ultimateguitar.com because I used it to submit a chord sheet of My Own Worst Enemy by Lit.
Oh God, yes.
So
yes.
I'm not gonna say it outright, but I will say, like, remember how I said the very first thing I used in Zelda Dungeon was Tattle, the fairy, one of the fairies from Majora's Mask.
How could we forget?
So at one point, my mom had a computer that had this newfangled autocorrect on it in the web browser.
Oh yeah, I remember that bullshit.
And so one day I typed in Tattle in the username, and before as I finished hitting my message and hit send, it had changed it to talk. Because Tattle was Tatl.
Yeah.
Right.
So it changed it to Talk. And you know how if you're like in a chat room or in a comment section and somebody makes a typo and everyone else just starts making fun of them for that typo?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what happened to me. So from then on, my username started with talk. Talk.
Like that.
I dig it.
I can tell you that my current username for some of the websites I go on today. Well, my Tumblr username is actually, like, my personal Tumblr username actually comes from a collection of short stories I really love.
Yeah.
So if you find my Tumblr, hello. Also, go check out that collection of short stories. It is delightful.
Yeah.
But some of my other usernames that I use for other websites is actually based off of a very obscure, very short-lived nickname I had for a while. And by a while, I mean 24 hours. Nobody ever called me it. But somebody referred to me as that once, and it stuck in my brain.
Nice.
Copester.
Nope. I wish. Way easier to remember, but no.
Oh, and you're not gonna tell us what it is.
Nope.
Yeah. So lately I've been using Actually Tall for like self-promotion and social media and stuff.
That's a good idea.
And then for gaming and stuff, I use variations of Mr. Tea Time, or it's a reference to Mr. Teatame from The Hogfather.
Yeah.
But it always has to be different variations because those three collection of words are very popular. So it's either like MR or with hyphens or with dots or whatever, but there's always MR or Mr. and then Tea Time, and then some places are case sensitive.
Yeah.
Although there's one, I think on Imager, I literally typed out it's pronounced Teatame and did like TEHAA TAHMEH.
I like
or
it.
something like that. Like it's pronounced Teatame.
Oh, real quick, if you guys decide to find I'm not sending you on a...
Send him on a goose chase.
I'm not
Fuck
sending you
it.
on a goose chase about this, but if you guys happen to find the username I referenced, you will literally find my AO3. There is like one fic on there, so have fun. Tell me what you think. There you go.
The one I've been using for the
That's not
past...
an invitation for you, by the way.
I'm gonna search.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna search. You can't stop me.
No.
No, the one I've been using for a while now. It's a reference to a remake of a PlayStation 1 game
Oh yeah.
that came out for the PSP. I think it was a Medieval Resurrection.
Ooh.
There's a extra, I believe it's a bonus level. And your character, Sir Daniel Fortescue, meets the Grim Reaper. I don't know if...
I've got this like thing.
Yeah, I've always been fascinated
Ben, do you
by
want to
death.
fuck the Grim Reaper?
There's not a hole.
There's a lot of holes
It
actually
depends on
No.
on the skeleton.
type.
On the skeletal hole? Yeah, not one that would feel good.
Oh.
Okay, again, depends on the type of Grim Reaper you're talking about.
Yeah.
Tess from Supernatural, for example, a delight.
I would fuck Tess. But
Botan from Yu Hakusho, also fantastic, if not a little bit bubbly.
True.
I think she's like, what, 14 though? She looks like she's 14.
Oh, now I feel bad.
Anyone from
She's
the
like
Soul Eater
hundreds of years
Society
old.
and Bleach.
Yeah, but she looks like a 14-year-old.
She does not. She's got blue
She acts
hair.
like one.
She does act pretty young.
She
yeah.
acts pretty
it's
young.
It's part of her like bubbly personality.
Yeah.
But I think they actually do make reference to how she looks older than the rest of the gang.
Yeah, she's filled out. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got boobs and butts.
How cool about her sister?
Oh, Kuwabara's sister, I would ask to marry if she existed.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even ask her to marry
me.
I would just say, hey, can you please beat me up?
Yeah. Ben, you basically just asked me, do you want to have the coolest fucking wife in the world? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, she's going to have a short life due to the fact that she hangs out with demons and smokes a lot, but I'm fucking here for this. Like, whatever. It will be a blissful life together.
You know, the reference from Medieval Resurrection was like when Sir Daniel Fortescue meets death for the first time. Like the Grim Reaper gives him this long ass like forced diatribe, and then Sir Daniel comes back with, "Oh hey, Mr. Death," and so from then on it was Mr. Death.
Nice.
I like in Now for Something or the Monty Python movie.
And now for something completely different.
No. It's a different one. It's
Life of Brian.
Meaning of Life.
Meaning of Life. That's
Where there's the Grim Reaper sketch.
Yes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Mr. Death here about the reaping, or it's Mr. Grimm here about the reaping. Also, sorry for the accent.
It's a solid sketch though.
It's an amazing sketch. It's hilarious.
Is that the same one with the, we're here to take your liver?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
That's the same one with the Every Sperm is Sacred song.
Yeah.
Every sperm is alright. That's enough.
Oh, with the amazing Protestants who are like, I could go down right now to the corner store, pick up a condom, put it on, and have sex with you. They say it a lot more British than that. It's filled with things like knacker you and willy pop and, Britishisms.
Yeah.
Your language is ridiculous and adorable. And I don't mean the English language, which is ridiculous and adorable. I mean, like, the slang and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like Cockney kind of stuff.
Yeah, or just like, I don't know, the phrase telly. I think it's an adorable word.
I just remember like back in the early days of Channel Awesome when it was still like that guy with the glasses.com.
Yeah.
A lot of the different like makers for it would do these like 5-second trailers, and the movie Repo Man was about to come out. So one of them did a 5-second trailer of Repo Man where it was like the splash Repo Man, and then it just cut to that Monty Python sketch. Like, we're here for your liver.
Okay. I think
Cool.
it's time.
Is it time?
It's time.
It's time.
Travis.
Yep.
This episode is called No Exit.
No exit.
Or as they say in French, ne exit pas. I don't know. I don't know what they would say in French. I just made that up. What do you think it's about?
No exit. Sam and Dean are traveling through the desert, and they need a place to sleep. So they check into a place, and it's great.
This vacancy.
It's lovely. It's a lovely place. But then they go to check out, and they can't.
1408.
The one I love.
I was just going to say Hotel California.
Okay.
Because you see,
That's
it's such a lovely place.
Oh,
Such a
yeah.
lovely place.
Yeah.
All right, well, I don't know if that's going to happen, Travis. Let's fucking find out.
Let's do it.
So, we have returned.
We have.
From death.
And life.
And peace and love
On the planet Earth.
on the planet Earth. Okay.
We returned to talk about this episode. Just real quick, I want to say I super enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
It was appropriately scary in some parts. Oh, I really
back.
like this episode.
Yes,
good.
It was good.
In fact, we'll talk about this later, but one of the scenes in this episode might go down as my favorite of the season.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can see that.
There were some good
Solid.
things. So let's do a quick recap.
Recap. Put that bottle back on that cap.
Yep.
Recaption.
Wait,
Coming at you live.
Recap.
I said it backwards. I said put that bottle back on that cap. I meant put that cap back on that bottle.
Bitch.
If you put a bottle back on a cap, it's messy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's empty.
Yeah, true.
Fair enough. Maybe it's one of those upside down ketchup bottles.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, I see. You see the bottle half full, half all empty.
Yeah, from the bottom of the bottle. Yeah, that's a terrible, terrible, terrible.
Anyway.
Okay.
What happens in
here's
this
what
episode,
happens.
Ari?
Oh, you done about to find out, / you already know because you saw the episode.
We just watched it.
We just did. The Netflix hasn't even cooled. That's how soon it's been. It's still on fire.
Yeah, our parents would be mad if we came home and then Netflix was that hot.
Yeah. So opens. This young woman is definitely about to be murdered in her apartment.
Yeah.
She is a small blonde woman. She gets kidnapped by a very creepy eyeball.
Yeah.
Very unsettling.
It's spewing out black stuff.
Oh, it's so gross.
Black goo.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like old plum sauce.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Then we see Sam and Dean. They're outside the Roadhouse, and they're trying to figure out their next case. You know, there's a woman who's been kidnapped by a cult. What's her name? Katie Holmes. Har, har, har.
Oh.
We get it. Scientology is evil. Travis just got that. And then...
And it was outside of L.A.
Yeah, because she married Tom Cruise.
Got it.
And then we hear Ellen and Joe arguing inside the Roadhouse, and Dean and Sam are like, oh, let's go check this out, this thing that is definitely not our business. And it turns out that Joe has found a case in Philadelphia. But it is the blonde women who keep disappearing. Apparently it's been happening since the 60s.
I think it said for decades.
Yeah, for decades. Like, tons of women have gone missing. So, her mom, Ellen, is like, absolutely not, Joe. You are not going on this case. Dean and Sam are like, we'll look into it then. So they go, they check out the apartment, and what do they find? But Joe's fucking there, buying the apartment. And she goes and she pretends Dina's her boyfriend and is like, oh, Dino and his buddy Sam will be staying with us. Here's a ton of money. And
like here's a bunch of cash you can't say no to.
Yeah,
she threw a wad of cash.
She
I've never had that much cash even in my bank account.
She could have made that motherfucker rain.
She should have been like, dance for it, dance for it, landlord man.
Twerk on this shit.
So Dean and Sam, a little bit before that, they were investigating the apartment and they find the black goo, and Sam's like, holy fucking shit. This is ectoplasm, which means this spirit is hella powerful.
That spirit's... Never mind.
No.
We're going to move on.
The goddamn class.
We're going to move on from this moment.
Nope,
Travis.
Nope.
I want you to think carefully about your life choices. And I want you to know that I support this one.
All right. Did you guys ever see Wacky Race?
That spirit's coming all overwhere with his big ghost dong.
Stop! Stop! Travis, why do you say the things you say?
You just said you supported my decision.
I supported your decision to not say it.
Oh.
I support the decision if we have any artist buddies out there who listen to our cast.
Nope, don't do that one.
Let's get real weird.
You can do a lot of stuff, but not that one. Please don't. In fact, I will put money into your Patreon just to make sure that you don't do that.
Again, Travis finds his line in the stand, and it is a dumb one. It is a dumb hill to die on.
Yeah, somebody please draw the ghostly dong of H.H. Holmes.
Nope.
I think it's...
Gross.
I really love what we're doing here. Let me just say, I thoroughly enjoy
We're
this.
providing quality entertainment, talking about H.H. Holmes' dick. His giant dick.
No one else is doing it. I promise you.
You're right.
That.
It is unique. I'll grant you.
We're filling a niche.
I feel like this is something I will put on my resume. Special skills. I have imagined H.H. Holmes' giant ghost dick.
God damn.
Oh.
And now for something completely different.
Dude, he was married 3 times, so like... I'm just going to say it probably wasn't his sparkling personality that attracted people to him. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. So they find this, and Sam's like, oh, this is some serious business. This ghost is fucking ripped.
Yeah.
Like, it does Pilates. It's insane.
Yes.
It's got a badonkadonk made of muscle. And Joe's like, cool. What if we used me as bait? And Dean is very uncomfortable with this. Ellen has already called him and been like, hey, is my daughter there?
I'll fucking murder you if she's there.
Yeah, I will kill you to death if she is there. And Dean's like, no, she's not here. And they figure out, another woman goes missing in the apartment. They figure out that whatever it is, it's in the walls. Mm-hmm. They've kind of searched around, and Dean smelled this weird gas that he couldn't quite put a handle on. They found the ectoplasm on a vent in a very creepy scene where ghostly fingers came out and tried to grab Joe.
Ghostly fingers.
Black ghostly fingers. And they kind of, they're confused because this building that they're in, it was built in the 1920s, but it has no history of violent deaths. Mm-hmm. Nothing crazy happened in it, right? And Joe grabs pictures from the surrounding area at the time, and they're like, maybe we shouldn't. This building, it clearly isn't the problem, but look at the next door building. It has bars on the window. It's a prison. And it turns out that it is a real prison in Pennsylvania that was eventually torn down, but the yard next door they used for hangings. And who is one of the prisoners who died there? None other than H. Holmes.
Yeah.
So Sam and Dean are like, cool. H. Holmes loved to kill his victims either by starving them to death in tight confined places or chloroforming them. So his latest victim might still be alive. So Dean and Joe kind of start searching the walls, and immediately Joe gets separated and kidnapped.
Yep.
And basically what happens after that is Dean and Sam are on this race to find Joe before H. Holmes kills her either from chloroform or starving her to death.
Yeah.
They figure out that there's this old sewer system. He's not in the walls, he's in the sewer system, and that's kind of how he's been traveling around.
Right.
Because unlike other ghosts in the show, H. Holmes is thick, by which I mean corporeal. Why are we talking about H. Holmes in such a sexual manner?
Yeah, who knows?
Is it T space H space C space C space thick?
Yeah.
But he has I guess he's so powerful. He's basically reformed his flesh.
Yeah.
He's essentially a fucking anime character. That's how powerful he is.
I wouldn't say reformed his flesh, but he is
he can touch things.
He's fucking Luke Skywalker astral projecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love The Last Jedi.
He can touch things and people can feel the touch and stuff like that.
He's grabbing at Joe. He's stealing hair from people. Mm-hmm. It's very uncomfortable. He in the last moment, Ellen's found out, by the way, and she's fucking pissed, and she's taking the first plane there. See you dead motherfuckers in a little bit.
She wouldn't acquire the Dragon Balls and bring them back to life to kill them again.
Exactly. Yeah. There's also this little foreshadowing moment where Ellen's like, I'm not going to trust another Winchester to take care of a family member.
Yeah,
and immediately
Dean's
we're like, which I'm surprised Dean didn't fucking put it together. I mean, she doesn't say exactly that, but it's very close to that. We also hear more about, earlier in this episode, we hear more about Joe's relationship with her dad, Bill, who died during a hunt. Where could this be going? Yeah, one of my least favorite tropes ever is where it's going. But they find Joe, they find Teresa, who's the other woman who's kidnapped, and they're like, cool, let's get the fuck out of here, except, oh no, Joe, you gotta hang out, because we're using you for bait to catch H. Holmes. Because his body is, cemented in concrete, and they really don't have a plan to kill him, except it turns out they have a plan, a brilliant plan. They trap H. Holmes, they have Joe sitting in a room, in this sewer, right? This kind of open area with a ton of gates, but they close. And they H. Holmes is coming up, and he's about to touch her and I guess strangle her to death or something. And then Dean shoots down these tarps that have salt in them.
Yeah.
And it makes a perfect salt ring on the outside of this room. Joe escapes, and H.H. Holmes is trapped there forever.
Forever and ever and ever.
And then, just for putting on the cake, that's not how that goes. Just to put the icing on the cake, they then fucking steal a cement truck to cement him in there.
Yeah.
So that the salt can never wash away, which I felt like was a very appropriate ending for him, considering his, oeuvre.
I think that was like the most concise we've seen them take care of a monster.
That is true.
Yeah.
They was very this episode felt very quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they figured out who it was or what it was and got it done right away. There was no hooting and hollering about it.
No pussyfooting around.
Yeah.
Well, they had other stuff to focus on, mostly with Joe's journey.
Right.
So they didn't have time to get into the lore, which is actually why I think they kind of took a prepackaged villain.
Uh-huh.
Right? H.H. Holmes, you don't have to introduce the viewers to this crazy. I mean, you have to do a quick recap on H.H. Holmes, but that's about it.
Right.
He comes prepackaged evil. It's very convenient.
Basically, yeah.
You know what I feel like? I feel like you could take this episode and put it at the first fucking episode of this season. Or the second episode.
And it would have been better.
This should have been episode 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I can see that. Yeah.
This would have worked a hell of a lot better.
Than
Absolutely.
the clowns.
Yeah.
Send in the clowns. No, send out the clowns.
Neither,
right, because you still could have introduced Ash.
Right, and Ellen and Joe.
And Joe and the Roadhouse in general.
Yeah. Although I do think it's kind of nice, because let me finish the episode recap real quick before we get much into it. So, they've defeated the ghost, who fucking saw, and now they are driving back to Nebraska in total silence.
Ellen is there.
Yeah,
and
Ellen is so mad. Dean starts playing. Dean turns on the radio, and
Cold as Ice by
Cold as Ice starts playing, and Ellen's just like, "Fuck you," and turns it off. And then they get back to the Roadhouse. Dean is trying to kind of come to Joe's defense and be like, "Hey, this is my fault. I lied to you. I'm super sorry." And Ellen is like, "Go fuck yourself in your dumb face. I need to have a moment alone with my daughter."
Yeah.
And that's when Ellen drops the bombshell. Bill, Ellen's husband / Joe's dad, had a backup with him on the hunt the night that he died. And that backup was John Winchester.
Yep.
And supposedly, he died in a very similar way. John was using Bill as bait and didn't come through, which makes it a nice little, parallel to what Sam and Dean
this
did.
Is how they did it.
Yes. And then then Joe storms out of the Roadhouse and she's like, "Hey Dean, fuck you and your stupid face again, because this is how my dad died and it's your dad's fault and now I'm mad at you."
Yeah.
That's how the episode ends.
There it is.
So, thoughts?
I really liked that scene. There was a scene where Joe mentions having a knife collection and stuff. And she's twirling around a knife when she thinks about stuff. Mm-hmm. And Dean goes to give her a bigger knife that'll actually do something against a monster. But then Dean sees that it has Joe's dad's initials carved into it. And it's her little sentimental knife that belonged to him, which is made of pure iron. Great defense against ghosts.
It is.
And Aria was all "That's not a very good knife." And I was like, "I bet it's made of iron." And then it was.
Yeah, because she stabbed H with it.
Yeah.
She did. It was amazing.
Yeah, double H.
Double H.
Sticks. Yeah. Actually, so my favorite sequence this episode, let's just talk about the good, and then I'll kind of talk about the bad, or the things I didn't like, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the things I don't like about this episode, Ben just did a thing. He made a face where he was like, I don't know.
This episode was a lot like Five Guys. They were Five Guys burgers and fries.
Yeah.
There was some alright stuff.
The bad thing about it is that there's too many French fries.
Yeah, pretty much.
I disagree. I think a little more than that. There are some things that truly bug me about this episode.
Yeah.
But it is very nitpicky and personal. You guys might not have these same complaints that I do.
It could be that you could have the same problem with Five Guys.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Too many French fries.
Sometimes I think I wish the patties were toasted.
You mean the buns?
The buns.
Yeah, who doesn't like?
Yeah, the
buns?
patties are toasted. They have to do that.
Yeah.
They're not serving steak tartare. All right. Yeah, so good things about this episode. The scene that I talked about in the beginning that might be like my favorite for the whole season when we do like our season wrap up is when Joe wakes up in that like, it's like a coffin thing.
Oh yeah, it's almost like a.
It's
almost like a morgue door.
Yeah.
But it's like a weird storm drain room.
Yeah, it's like long ways, and it's like all she can do is lay down. She can basically like put her arm up to the top. And that's what made this like, what made this scene so good is one, there's no music. It's just Joe. And she wakes up in this and sees that another victim of his has been scratching on the ceiling of this like thing, and she starts kind of crying, and then she like, Teresa's like, hey, is somebody there? She starts talking to Teresa and trying to like calm her down and give her hope that Teresa's gonna live, gonna survive this. And then just when you're like, wow, this sequence has been going on for a long time and it's been very poignant, H.H. Holmes comes up and then like grabs her hair and touches her. It's very uncomfortable. So this scene, you just run a gamut of emotions from like sadness and worry. You're worried about Joe and Teresa, and then fear with H.H. Holmes, and then uncomfortableness with H.H. Holmes. So just a good, like a very well done sequence that had great atmosphere. I really like felt those feelings.
Nice. Way to feel those feelings.
Thank you. What about you? What do you guys like about the episode?
Well, I already said my scene that I liked.
Yeah. What else?
I don't know. Like the ghost part.
I really enjoyed like when Dean and Joe are going through the hallways, and
with like the EMF readers.
Yeah. And like she's facing away, and she's got the vent behind her, and like the fingers start to slowly come out. I thought that was nice, good, and creepy.
It was, especially because that hand for like a second looked like a fake hand.
Yeah.
Like they were just pushing a fake hand through a vent, and it was just like, but it looked just like real fake enough where it was like, oh, that's a little. It was that very uncanny valley situation.
It looked a little like a monkey's paw.
I mean, I guess.
Like the scary kind of monkey's paw.
Yeah.
You know?
Like the one where you break the fingers?
Yeah. Bad things happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that kind. Because his hand is like totally black. I guess from toiling in the sewers all day.
Yeah, probably.
Murdering people.
Well, my favorite part about that whole scene is when Dean goes, what's that smell? And Joe goes, I don't know, a gas leak? And Dean's like, I know that smell from somewhere, but I can't put my finger on it. And it's chloroform.
Yeah.
Of course. Dean knows what chloroform smells like.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah. I think it's an important thing to know what it smells like.
Why does he know what it smells like? Actually, probably, honestly, it's because he's been kidnapped.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, does it smell like chloroform?
Yeah.
He's pranked Sam that way.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking bet.
He's accidentally chloroformed his own brother.
We've all been there.
No, here's the thing about chloroform, though. Like, real chloroform.
The look right now.
To actually do the thing. Like, you know how we see people get chloroformed in movies and TV shows?
It's like
and they
It's like
immediately...
instant.
Yeah.
You have to, like, be exposed to chloroform for, like, 5 minutes with no other source of oxygen for it to actually knock you out.
It's also... Isn't it, like, very easy to actually die?
I think so, yeah.
Like, it's very easy to accidentally kill your
It's like
kidnapped
breathing in too
victims.
much helium.
Yeah.
You'll just replace all the air in your lungs with helium
And
instead
that
of oxygen.
would be...
And then you die.
You're right. That would be bad.
Is death bad? Is what we're getting at today.
That's the question for the ages.
Yeah.
Actually, I like the character of death in this show. Anyways, boom. Okay.
Actually, my favorite fucking depiction of death in media comes from this show.
Wow.
My favorite would be this, except I really love Sandman and I really love Terry Pratchett.
Yes.
Yeah.
Terry Pratchett's death is probably my top tier, and then Sandman's closely under that. But it's top 3 is not bad.
Yeah.
Because he is excellent.
Anywho,
Oh,
so
Travis, you have so much
eventually.
to look forward to.
So do you.
My first 2 notes I want to share because they make me giggle And that's my first note is discount Christina Ricci is upset.
Yeah, she was very like looked like Christina Ricci, but very much wasn't.
Yes. It was talk about uncanny valley when celebrities or like when actors look a lot like other celebrities, but like not enough. Yeah. But yeah, that was the first victim. The girl who got kidnapped first, who died from the chloroform, I guess. But she was upset because the lights were flickering. Mm-hmm. And then my second note was, why do blonde white women even bother? Because it is so okay. Between Mary Winchester, half of the season 1 week women's being blonde. Mm-hmm. So many of them were blonde.
Yeah,
you got Charlie from Bloody Mary. Other ones, sure.
Yeah.
Don't remember. But like, and then Joe, like,
it's like
why be blonde? Dye your hair.
It's like
women.
being a brown-haired anime mom that wears an apron.
Exactly. You're gonna fucking die. Like,
or just hoard your child's money.
Well, possibly yes. Yeah. But the point is that like, hey, blonde-haired women in the supernatural universe, either become a hunter right now or accept your death. I'm sorry.
Like Joe.
Let's talk about Joe. Don't you just love her?
Yes.
I am obsessed with her character.
She's great.
She's fantastic.
I really enjoy Ellen as well.
Yes, they're both fantastic.
But I think they were a good breakaway from the usual helpless
lady. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're also. It's just nice to have characters that aren't. It's nice that it's
white
not.
Dudes? Is that what you're gonna say?
I was actually gonna say it's not 100% the same in Dean's show.
Yeah.
Like it still very much is, but it's nice to have that like
new flavor.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's like a new flavor of characters that also know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to get into the world building.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially with like Hunter Society with the Roadhouse. Mm-hmm. And Ellen's just such a badass.
I did like that line where Dean was like, "Hunters don't tip that well."
Yeah.
Because they asked Joe about where she got all that cash.
Yes.
And I can't even remember. It was just like, it was tips from.
No.
Or she got it from the Roadhouse.
Dean goes, "Hunters don't tip that well," and she's like, "Yeah, they don't play poker that well either."
Yeah.
Yes. I want to talk about something. I want to ask you guys about something. I am conflicted because Ellen is very protective of Joe. She doesn't want her to go hunting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she doesn't, I guess, want to teach her how to survive in this batshit crazy world. Or she does know how to survive, but like only the basics, right? She doesn't want her to go out. Do you agree with Ellen's overprotectiveness?
Yes and no. Yeah. Especially in the Winchester situation.
Yeah.
I can definitely understand why she would be having like flashbacks about that. However, I mean, like, it's not totally crazy that she doesn't want Joe to be a hunter.
Sure.
But it's also like her dad was a hunter and she still, is in contact with hunters all the time.
Right.
So at least let her have a taste of being in this life.
I don't think it says how old Joe was.
She said
when
she
her
was
dad
in
died.
pigtails.
Yeah.
Which means, I want to say at least...
I would say like 5 to 10.
Yeah. I'd say younger than 10.
Yes.
But no older than 5.
Or no younger than 5.
No younger than 5.
Yeah. Yeah. 5 to 10 it probably. Especially if she's having such strong memories of him.
Yeah, and she can still remember him.
Yeah, I think like 1 to 5 your memories are pretty sketch.
They are.
Even if they're about somebody super important who then died. But it is possible that like if Ellen wanted to keep her completely away from the life, that she could have moved and changed her name and been like, your dad died in a car accident. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is Harry Potter could have been done between the ages of 5 and 10. Especially since human memories are so stupid and crazy.
Yeah.
Like we really do like put in stuff if it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of where I fall too. Like I think that Ellen has very good reasons for not wanting Joe to be in that life. I don't think anybody should want to be in that life. you know, or
Yeah.
would
Well, and
really want to.
that's a conversation that Dean has with her.
Yeah.
He's like, nobody chooses to do this.
Yes.
Like, not even Dean chose to do this.
He was
initially.
forced into it.
He was forced into it, and now it's the only thing he can do.
Yeah.
Because he can't be a normal person.
Yeah.
He's normal than some.
Well, he can't, like, have a day job.
Right.
Yeah.
While knowing that supernatural beings are about.
Yeah.
I fall on the I want to protect your kids, like be overprotective about it and don't let them outside the house. Like I see Ellen's point of view, and the nobody should want this life. But I feel like if you're going to live in a world with supernatural creatures who are habitually attacking people, you should absolutely know how to defend yourself, how to, you know.
Well, and she knew a few things. I mean, like.
Oh yeah, she knew how to swing a knife.
Yeah, and she knew that her knife was made of iron and it would, hurt.
She also knew that to get rid of a ghost, you salt and burn the bones.
I really feel like Joe
So it's almost like she, spent her time working at the Roadhouse,
right,
grilling hunters about how to do hunter stuff.
There's working in the field, and then there's, hitting the books. It's just so different.
And she was really good at hitting the books too.
She was. But because Dean is apprehensive about her being there as well, and I see Dean's point more than Ellen's.
Yeah, is that she's
too inexperienced for this serious of a hunt. Because very early on, Dean and Sam know that this ghost is serious business. Yeah. Oh, tiny little thing, but just bolsters my theory. I think Sam must have done some hunts while he was at Stanford.
You think so?
Well, here's the thing. He's run into ectoplasm before, and Dean hasn't. So what chance would Sam have had to do hunts without Dean?
Probably at college where there'd be ghosts hanging around.
Yes. Now, there are some instances where in his childhood where he could have done hunts without Dean.
That's
but
true.
I don't know.
But probably not as likely.
Yeah.
It could be that just Sam was doing all the research.
True, it could be that. Well, he says he's seen it once or twice. He's only seen it once or twice before.
Yeah.
So, like, I imagine he'd come across it more in research than on a hunt. So, yeah. So, I think that Sam, like, people, like, fans and audience members and even some of the other, like, characters in the show like to treat, like, oh, Sam was off at Stanford and he wasn't doing anything. I think if something arose, he still helped out.
You can take the hunter out of the hunt, but you can't take the hunt out of the hunter.
Exactly. Pew, pew, pew.
Yep.
So, Ben, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking Ellen is running kind of like the same kind of thing as Bobby.
Yeah.
Where like Bobby is kind of like your area manager.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where like people come to him for help.
Yes.
And I think people go to Ellen for help, and I think Joe is catching up some of them tips from when Ellen's giving them away.
Yeah.
Probably.
And I think that's what she wants to kind of grill and like force Joe into being.
Right.
Is the new area manager there just in case anything happens to her.
Yeah.
Because Ash can't run that bar by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that goddamn mullet.
No. Chase customers away.
Yeah.
No Ash this episode, though, does get mentioned.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Yeah.
I also liked the scene in the beginning when Joe and Ellen were having the argument. And, like, a family of tourists walk in.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, hey, are you guys open? And everyone's just screaming, and they're like, oh, we'll just
go to the Arby's.
go to Arby's.
What did their shirts say?
They said Nebraska's for lovers.
Oh, Nebraska's for lovers. Okay, first
Yeah.
of all, fuck you. Virginia is for lovers.
Well, that's where it comes from.
I know.
Every state has a sticker that says such and such is for, like, California's for Alabama's for lovers.
Well,
Yeah,
hard
Tennessee is
disagree
for
there.
lovers. Yeah.
They had like what 2 or 3 little kids with them, and they were wearing the
They had
Nebraska is for
2,
lovers.
yeah.
See, that's how you know that they were tourists
Yeah.
and not, like, locals. They were tourists looking for a local establishment to eat. And so they walked into the fucking Roadhouse.
The dingiest goddamn bar.
Yeah, which
They
honestly
were like,
looks
this
like
is
a
what we
shack
know
on the
about
side of the road.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Nebraska's full of dirty buildings.
Yeah, where are they going to go in there and
I mean,
eat
they're not
whiskey
wrong.
and beer?
Okay, yeah, the Roadhouse looks like a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Although I guess you'd want it to if you don't want, like, normies to come into your hunter bar.
Like the
Yeah.
normies that showed up.
Wearing
Yes.
fucking visors and matching state shirts.
Hi, we're actually from Hawaii, but we're touring the mainland with our 2 small children.
I feel
it definitely struck me as like those white people who are like, Aloha.
Oh God.
Yeah, they would probably pronounce it wrong or something.
Aloha.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Aloha. Oh, I just wrote down vent scene is creepy, and it was.
Yeah.
It really was.
Every time.
Every one of them.
Yeah.
So what was the deal with? There was the scene where we saw the other victim, the Teresa.
Teresa.
We saw her get nabbed, and there was this thing going on where there were like cracks showing up on her ceiling.
Yes.
I didn't understand why.
I think because H.H. Holmes is a dick.
Oh.
Or he likes striking fear into his victims.
Yeah. He
You
kind
think
of.
that's all it was?
Yeah.
Or he's probably just fucking with her.
Yeah, probably.
Honestly, here's what I think it is. Because we do see H.H. Holmes go from like, okay, I'm willing to just grab somebody from outside this vent to I'm going to fuck with them with flickering lights and black goop falling this in the ceiling. I think the writers wanted to create that scary tension.
They just needed a scene with that tension.
Yeah,
in it.
and which is something that normally bugs me with the whole like, does the character do this because the character's doing it, or is the character the excuse for the writers?
I'll be really honest with you. I was really expecting at one point him just lean towards and just say, "We all float down here."
Oh,
shit.
Yeah. But this episode was so creepy for me.
It was pretty creepy.
I didn't even mind. I was like, fuck yeah, crack up some walls.
No, you were kind of squinching around with crawling behind the walls.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm claustrophobic. So there's this part where like Dean and Joe get to this space where the wall's narrow, and Joe's like, I can get past here. And I was like, oh, but what if you get stuck and then H.H. Holmes comes and kills you? Like, very creepy. Yeah. That's the sound I make when I'm in a tight space. So,
damn, we're in a tight spot.
Yeah.
Between a rock and a hard place. That hard place is H.H. Holmes' giant dong.
Dong never died.
Oh, he was so creepy.
But did you ever read the short story, probably in high school? I want to say it was Poe that wrote it. But it's about a guy.
The cask of.
It's not like that. This guy's he's laying in what he feels like is a coffin, and like he feels around him, and all he can feel is like this tight space.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts going through like claustrophobia and stuff. But then like somebody turns on like a lantern. He's just like freaking out, thinking he's fucking dying, that he's been buried alive. He's fucking terrified. And then somebody flicks on a lantern, and it just turns out he's in bed on a ship.
Is that part of the Pit and the Pendulum?
No, because the dude's just on the ship by himself, and it's just like at the end of it, it's just the relief of him not actually being dead or in a coffin. I can't remember the name of it. I just remember reading it when I was in high school, and whenever I think of claustrophobia, I think of that.
Interesting.
And when we first see Joe in that storm drain,
Aria
that's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
Okay.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, especially with like water, like sewers.
We'll do some Googling.
We all float down here.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Because the helium. And the garlic.
I want to take a moment and talk about Joe's actress.
Yeah.
Who was on Veronica Mars.
Oh.
Which is like, I watched Veronica Mars after I started watching Supernatural, so I was like, it's fucking Joe. But she's a cool actress. I like her a lot. She's in some other stuff too.
Who is she in Veronica Mars?
She plays a lady. She plays like one of Veronica Mars's friends.
Okay.
And her name is Alana Tal. She is an Israeli actress. Meg Manning is her name on Veronica Mars. She is like a friend. She starts out as a friend of Veronica, and then something horrific happens to her, and then she stops being friends with Veronica. Spoiler alert. Do you know what Veronica Mars is about?
It's about a girl named Veronica.
You are correct.
She's from Mars.
Is from Mars.
Nope.
And she's come to Earth to study humans.
Very wrong.
And also stop other aliens from invading.
It's a murder mystery.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a murder mystery.
About who killed the god of Mars.
Nope. About who killed Veronica Mars's friend.
Oh.
Who's played by...
Joe.
No, that chick from those Nicholas Sparks movies / the young girl Mamma Mia.
That didn't help me any.
She's also I have ESPN girl from Mean Girls.
It's been a long time
When
since
I
I've
touch
seen
my
Mean
boobs, I
Girls.
can tell it's raining. When it's raining?
No.
Okay, it doesn't matter. The point is that Veronica Mars is a really good show. You guys should check it out. Alana Toll is in it. Travis, I have a question for you.
What's that?
How do you feel about the ship teasing between Dean and Joe?
I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I feel like they make a pretty good, like, snarky couple.
Yeah. A little like
they like to snark each other.
Banter, wit. I like how there's this moment, which I feel like is a very early 2000s moment. The whole accuse them of being a chauvinist. And then the guy is like, I'm not a chauvinist. Women can totally do this job. You can't do this job.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a very, like, how do we get
like,
across our
feminism
character?
is over.
Yeah.
Or not
yeah.
feminism. Sexism is over.
How do we get across that our character is not totally sexist, but still disapproves of this woman?
Yeah. Sexist is just I don't like you.
Yeah. You're an amateur, kid. An amateur.
Yeah.
This is a very Dean and Joe heavy episode.
It was.
That Sam was not in it very much at all.
Not at all.
He has like
Jared
4
Padalecki
lines.
had to go to the doctor to get his wrist wrapped
Jared
up.
Padalecki was filming House of Wax, and that's what happened.
Sorry to cut away again. It was The Premature Burial by Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh.
Ah, okay.
There you go.
There.
I learned something new today.
Or he was just getting into bar fights, because that's how he keeps breaking his fucking wrist.
Yeah.
I did not know that Jared Padalecki liked to fight in bars.
I don't think he likes to. I think nobody likes to fight in bars. That's just something that happens to you.
Some people enjoy it, I think.
How do you spell Padalecki? It's gonna like.
It's gonna pop up. You're gonna type in. You don't have any other. You don't have any friends named Jared. I almost said any other friends, like your personal friends with Jared Padalecki, which would be amazing. And I'd like to meet him, please.
Get in a fight in a bar with him. Let's take him to Copper Top. He'll get in a fight there.
All right. I put in Jared Padalecki bar fight, and I got a list of 15 celebrities who got beat up in a bar fight.
Aww.
Number 5 is Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles.
Whoa,
And
both
Jensen
of them at
Ackles.
the same time?
Yeah, let's read this shit.
Oh man, this is amazing.
We learned that the two became really close during a night out on the town. It was actually a bar fight that brought them together as a unit.
Aww.
Brothers in arms, you might say. This is adorable. There had been this fight at a bar, and these guys got kicked out. They were pretty tanked, Ackles recalls. The one girl sees me walking by and says, "That's the guy," meaning she knew him from the show, but they thought I was some guy she had been fighting with. They started swinging at me, and it was an all-out brawl. And I got away at first. Then I turned around and saw 3 or 4 guys teaming up on Jared. I was like, "Oh man!"
You would need 3 or 4 guys to team up on Jared.
Yeah,
That man
for
is
real. He's large.
To take on Moose. Fuck
Jared
yeah.
Padalecki has Yowie man hands.
I ran back in and I was fly kicking at some kid, hit another guy, grabbed Jared's shirt. Of course, I ripped his favorite shirt, and I was yelling, "Come on, let's get out of here!"
Watch it be that one from the Gordon episode.
Yeah.
We were pretty tight after that.
Yeah.
When does it say when that took place?
Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh, I hope
Because
it's.
it had to have been
like,
while they were filming.
I
Yeah.
don't believe it said.
Like, is there a time when the article was?
This article,
Well, I guess article doesn't matter.
it was posted from a year ago.
No, that's not okay.
Yeah, no.
So it has to have been. It has to have been after the first season of Supernatural because he said someone recognized him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it could be as early as 2005.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I have. Oh man, one of the other things I really liked about this episode, the ghost defeat with this with the salt.
It was good.
What a nice, just like, it felt so right.
It was very like
felt
end
so
of
right.
the Elder Toguro brother.
Yes, satisfying.
It was very satisfying.
Hoisted by his own.
Knowing that it was H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
Like a very fucked up individual.
Who liked to trap people in walls.
Yeah.
No Freak of the Week this week because Supernatural did it for us.
Yeah.
I wrote down H.H. Holmes, Supernatural would be good at the Freak of the Week portion of the show. Because Sam basically runs off of the laundry list of H.H. Holmes things. And they seem,
pretty much.
From what I know about H.H. Holmes, they're pretty all correct.
Yeah.
You know, he was...
I don't know how correct him being in that prison being hanged was. Because wasn't he
did get the death penalty.
He did get the death penalty.
Yeah.
But didn't he live in Chicago?
He did live in Chicago, but...
No, he built a murder house in...
So he built a murder house in Chicago.
Nope, that's where he died.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and he was only 34 years old. He was very young.
Yeah.
So he died. No, he didn't die in Chicago. He died in the prison in the show.
Oh, no way.
The Moy Mincing prison.
Nice.
Man, they got this to a goddamn T.
Yeah,
they did.
really did. One thing they didn't mention that I want to share with you guys is that I think is pretty cool. In the show, they did talk about how they only found like a certain number of his victims, but it's estimated he killed like over 100.
Right.
Well, according to a little fun fact from Wikipedia, while he confessed to 27 murders, only 9 could be plausibly confirmed, and several of the people who he claimed to have murdered were still alive.
Yeah.
Which is like, keep your receipts, I guess. He is commonly said to have killed as many as 200, though this figure is only traceable to 1940s pulp magazines.
Oh, okay.
So I think H.H. Holmes is kind of a case of like, yes, he killed a lot of people. That's bad. And he was definitely like America's first serial killer, but it's definitely a case of like the monster and the legend outgrew the man.
Of course, yeah.
Especially since other popular hobbies of H.H. Holmes, con artist and bigamist.
Mm-hmm.
He was a man of many talents.
Well, I brought this up earlier while we were watching the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that you knew it, and I believe Travis said as well, that there was a theory that H.H. Holmes was Jack the Ripper, because there is the kind of the correlation that the Ripper murders stopped, and then the H.H. Holmes murders started.
I think if that
so.
were the case, though, it would have to be...
It would have to be the same style of murders, though, right?
Well, maybe. I don't know. But I think if that were the case... Well, yes. Okay, that is something. It's kind of like a thing that we think of where, like, serial killers have an MO and they stick to it, and that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, I guess so.
But, yes, there are wildly different, like, circumstances. Like, Jack the Ripper killed prostitutes. H.H. Holmes...
Killed blonde women.
Killed blonde women, apparently.
Yeah.
In his murder hotel. But he also killed dudes.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people remember that.
That's true.
He killed dudes. But I think that for H.H. Holmes to be Jack the Ripper, and I don't think he is, I think that he would have had to been born in the United States and then moved to London for a while and did that, because we know a lot about his life. Like,
Yeah.
It's not like the 1800s, nobody just knew what was going on. Like,
Right.
people were with it, right? So, like, we know that he was born in New Hampshire. Like, we can pretty much trace what happened. I don't think he really ever fell off the map for a couple of years.
Fair enough. He's not like Jesus.
Yeah. Yes. I'm more partial to believe that H.H. Holmes is actually a character played by Bill Hicks. So,
I'm glad I could reset you up for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, H.H. Holmes, interesting guy, originally named Herman Webster Mudgett, so I can understand why he changed it to the much more intimidating H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
Triple H was always pretty intimidating.
Triple H.
Hashtag bring back the law.
Yeah.
So yeah, H.H. Holmes doing his thing, living his life, being dead, apparently a ghost.
Yeah.
Pretty hardcore ghost too.
Pretty fucking hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Cool.
Can we talk about the things that annoyed me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, what you got?
Yes. So there are a couple of... This is very nitpicky, but I'm here to nit and I'm here to pick.
We're talking about when Dean grabbed Joe's ass.
No, actually, I wasn't even going to mention that, but yeah, that kind of is implied. We don't actually see it.
Yeah, we don't see it, but it is kind of like she's like, oh yeah, she's a pistol, and there's kind of like a weird like
slapping
noise.
No,
Yeah,
you can see how she moved her hips. That ass was touched.
Yeah,
this is in the landlord, like getting the apartment from the landlord scene when Sam and Dean first figure out that Joe is there. Dean, we don't see it, but it's implied that Dean slaps her ass when the landlord's like, "You got a great wife." Girlfriend.
Yeah, because Joe immediately set up that they were like dating.
Yeah.
So of course Dean is gonna be like, all right, if you're dating, we're gonna go in this hardcore.
Ugh.
Ass touch
Immediately. He was like, "Hey, Assbutt,"
Hey.
which I think is inappropriate, but I wasn't gonna mention it. I was gonna talk about. I'm gonna go from like least annoying to most annoying to me. Okay.
Or do it in like a random order, and we'll guess where it is on the list.
Ooh, what a twist!
What a twist.
All right.
How many things are there?
Technically 4.
Okay.
But 2 of them are the same thing.
Oh.
This is doable.
So we get a little bit of the "I'm not like other girls"
Yeah.
with Joe. Especially since like Dean is sleeping very uncomfortably in a chair in this apartment that they've rented out for a little while. And he wakes up and he sees Joe at the counter, who hasn't slept. She stayed up all night reviewing this case. And Joe says, "Morning, princess," because, you know, it's like bad to be a woman.
I guess so.
And royalty, and also sleep comfortably. So I really, as somebody who took a very short nap on a very uncomfortable couch at work last night, I sympathize with Dean so much. So yeah, I just like the whole. Joe never says "I'm not like other girls," but it is heavily implied, and that's always never a fun time for me.
Travis, where do you feel like this is on the list?
I think I need to hear them all, and then we'll rank them.
Okay, fair enough. There are some lines in this episode that I thought were kind of
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe, Dean, and Sam have decided they're going to check out the walls, try to search for this ghost early on in the episode after just one person has been abducted and killed. And Joe's like, "All right, it'll be quickest if we split up." And Dean is like, "Absolutely not. We are going together." And Joe says, like, "Are you going to take me out on a date?" And Dean says, "What?" And Joe says, "I mean, if you're going to ride my ass as hard, it's only decent you buy me dinner." Which felt very forced. I don't know. I didn't like that line.
I think a better version of that joke is, "Hey, are you going to pull my hair?"
Yeah. Well, as somebody who often says, "Buy me a drink first," jokingly to cats, I did not like the way that line was delivered. I think Joe and Dean usually have like quite a bit of chemistry.
Yeah.
So that little like cute little banter was just not bad.
Yeah.
And then I also fucking hated the line. Dean's like, "Nobody chooses this job." And Joe says, "You love this job." And Dean says, "Yeah, but I'm a little twisted." And Joe says, "Oh, you don't think I'm a little twisted too?"
Welcome to my twistedmind.tumblr.com.
Yes, that's what that reminded me of.
My name is Raven Darkness Dementia Way, and this is my fanfic.
It's bracketed by X's.
RAR means love in dinosaur.
Yeah.
That's
God.
what Joe was to me in that moment.
It was like the peak of that.
The XD, like, emoji. Like, Joe needed to fucking dye her hair black with, like, underneath it a little bit of pink and have it swoop into her eye. It was that weird, edgy thing that's just was so cool back in 2005.
So cool.
And, ugh.
And the Black Parade is playing in the background.
Yes.
Yeah.
I expected Simple Plan to guest star in this episode.
Surprisingly, Cheap Trick did.
Yeah, which much better music choice.
Solid music in this episode. I would agree with that.
We had
Cheap Trick.
We had
Cold as Ice.
We had like a quarter of a Cheap Trick song, and then exactly one line from Cold as Ice.
So
which
good
I have
time.
to imagine is all they had the budget for.
Probably.
There was cold as ice. We said it before, but it bears repeating. Most of the budget of the show, I feel like, goes to music.
Yeah, I'm sure.
At about now,
it goes to getting that fucking mechanical license.
Maybe not now, but
back then.
Good portion of it feels like.
Yeah.
But they get some good fucking music, so not gonna complain. And then the last thing on my list of things that annoyed the crap out of me, the whole your dad caused my dad to die, therefore I hate you. Mm-hmm. Like, I understand being upset and needing, like, time.
Yeah.
Because that is a bombshell to get dropped on you. But I don't like the sins of the father trope.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. I don't like the fact that, like, Ellen and Joe are mad at Sam and Dean. Like, I get why Ellen's mad at Sam and Dean.
Right.
I don't like that Joe, who decided to put herself in that situation, right? Especially the whole, like, she's the one who suggested that they use her for bait.
Yeah.
In the very beginning of the episode. And then she comes out and is like, fuck you, Dean, because your dad killed my dad, like father, like son. And it's like, whoa. Not like father, like son.
It's a really lazy line that covers a lot of ground, and it's really easy to set up.
When Naruto was talking about, you pointed this out, Ben. Naruto, like how much forced drama there is in this show, which is just like, that's what you get when you watch a CW show.
Yeah.
Like there's so much like, it feels a lot of ways like a bad reality TV show where they try to force conflict when there's just no conflict there.
Yeah.
That's how this like feels.
It
like.
was.
And I understand that emotions are not always logical, but I can't even think I can't even imagine a time in my life where I've been mad at somebody's like relative because of something they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just didn't like that. All right, those are my complaints. Rank them from worst to best.
If I had to rank them, I'd say you probably said them in order.
Which way?
Incorrect.
Ooh.
I did not say them in order.
I think...
Well, I think the last one you said is still the most.
No. It is the last one was either the least or the middle one. Am I right?
Nope.
Really? Mm-hmm. So it was the most.
Yes, that annoyed me the most.
All right. So I was leaning towards I'm Not Like Other Girls was the most.
Normally, you'd be right, but because it's not explicit and doesn't run through the whole episode, and we do get that really like sweet scene with Joe trying to comfort Teresa.
Yeah.
It got knocked down.
All right, fair enough. So I'm guessing that one's like third or second.
It's second.
Okay.
The annoying lines is least annoying to me.
Yeah.
Because whatever, it's one line of dialogue and it's gone.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The another thing is that like this is setting. Actually, you know what? I don't honestly remember. I don't remember the next time we see Ellen and Joe. But I know there's an episode later this season where Joe plays a big role. And I don't think there's a whole lot of consequence for this. Which on the one hand, I'm like, there shouldn't be. But on the other hand, if you're going to set up this big explosive fight between the Winchesters and the Harvilles, you got to commit to it. You can't just sweep it on the rug in a couple episodes. Well, but I don't remember if that's what happens, so don't quote me.
The one thing Supernatural is consistently bad at is not using all of the tools in its toolbox.
Yes. I keep hinting, and not by... I keep hinting that I hate this episode by saying I hate this episode in season 7. But there's an episode in season 7 I really fucking hate for this reason.
Oh, yeah?
It sets up a huge issue when it didn't need to and shouldn't have, but then it sets it up and then there's no payoff. It's very frustrating.
Nice.
Supernatural loves to do this. Almost as much as it loves to play Carry On My Wayward Son and kill off the main characters.
Yeah, and use the phrase "the road so far."
Yeah, the road so far. So that's what I disliked.
Nice.
Okay.
But overall, I think very strong episode.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I still feel like those are strong
Joseph.
gripes, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, thank you for agreeing with me.
You're welcome. Like, this episode, I'm going to have to go back to my Five Guys analogy. It's very much, it's not great.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the best episode of the season. I really think they did a lot of things well, but I think this episode would have served a better purpose in another spot in the season, like I said earlier.
I see your point. I think one of the things I do like about this episode, even though the monster of the week is not super interesting to me, although they do handle him in an interesting way, I think because it's so much more character driven than necessarily other episodes, that I don't mind some of its flaws. Yeah. This is one of those episodes that I like despite the issues, but by far not even close to the best episode of season 2.
See, why I keep using like the Five Guys analogy is like I hate crispy beef.
Yes.
I don't mind if Five Guys cooks mine like over a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Because it's still going to taste fine.
Yeah.
But if I go anywhere else, fuck you. Don't overcook my beef. That's what, like, I mean, like, because you know how much I fucking hate the I'm not like other girls thing.
Yes.
Because it implies like individuality.
Mm-hmm.
Tough word to get out.
It also is just obnoxious because it implies that most girls suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And overwhelmingly, I find that not to be the case.
Girls are great.
Girls are great.
Well, I think the phrase, like, most women suck is a bit redundant because most people suck.
You got it. You put the pin in that one, Ben.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, straight women, gay men, bisexual women, you're right. A lot of people do suck.
Told you. Because half of them are dudes.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Right back at me.
It's about slurping on some peen.
Ooh. That's
I was trying to think of the most upsetting way to say it.
Slurping on some peen?
Yeah, I was trying to think of the most upsetting way to say it.
Slurping some dong.
I feel like that was a pretty good one.
So I'm just, okay.
Uncomfortable at that statement?
I've said this before, and maybe I'm just like super overestimating how much I loved the season the first time I watch it, but I'm looking through the episode list and god damn, there are some good fucking episodes this season.
The second half of the season is pretty fucking hype.
It is.
Well, dang.
I mean, this first half, with the exception of
you don't even know, Travis.
The second episode has been pretty fucking hype.
Yeah.
Like, other than Everybody Loves a Clown, like, I think I've enjoyed every episode.
What's the next episode called?
It is called Crossroad Blues.
Oh, yes.
Crossroad Blues.
Oh, yes. This is going to be a good episode.
Yeah.
Dude, and then the episode after this, Croatoan.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped.
Oh, God. I think.
And then the episode after that is Hunted. Travis.
I think y'all have mentioned the episode Croatoan before.
Travis.
I've heard that name.
We have. Look at those spikes on the goddamn recording.
Yes, that's how excited we are.
I'll have to compress those.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Travis.
Yeah.
I'm giving you something to look forward to.
Okay.
You know how in the beginning of the season, John said that thing to Dean?
Yeah.
And Dean is clearly like very upset
Do we
about
finally
it.
find it out?
No. We're so close.
We're
2 episodes
I want it to
away.
happen now.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, we would have to keep watching the show.
Yes.
Which we'll have to wait a week to do.
Yes.
I guess so.
You're going to find out it's coming. I think you're going to find out 3 weeks from now.
That's so long.
Not in the grand scheme
That's
of things,
like an entire
friend.
month away.
Hey, you're not going to find out how my favorite villain gets introduced for another couple of years. So in the grand scheme of things, I said villain, not actor who plays that villain.
Well, so Lucifer.
You're not going to find out how he's introduced for a couple of years.
Yeah,
so relatively,
right.
very quick.
I guess so.
Can we give a shout out to Travis for having great self-control?
About what?
About not looking up spoilers.
Oh, yeah. That's because I still don't care enough about the show to want to know. Like...
Oh, we thought it was a positive, and you turned it into a negative.
I have grown to enjoy the show as it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am not so invested in it that I want to seek out spoilers or try to, like, care about it at all.
You know what? Fair enough. Because I still have not gotten caught up on this recent season because of the podcast we're doing.
So, I'm going to say this. Wow. I hope you do become that invested.
Yeah.
But you're still not allowed to do it.
See,
you can only eat the crumbs we leave for you.
Here's the thing. I've never been that invested in anything.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's
Like-
fine.
Not even Bitcoin.
Yeah. Like maybe a little bit for Adventure Time.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit for Steven Universe.
Yes. Oh, you're one of those.
But
And if it helps, I'm one of those too.
But yeah, I've never been so invested in a show where I'm like, God, I gotta know what happens next. I'm willing to wait.
Yeah.
Because whatever the show creators want to show me next is probably worlds better than anything I want anyway. Because I feel like that should be a show's job, is to give you the thing that you didn't like, something that's so close to what you wanted, but you didn't know you wanted that.
That's a very zen way of looking at things.
I'm very zen.
Okay.
Thanks, Bush.
Ari's having flashbacks to when I broke my computer, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Sure you are."
Okay. You yelled at Alexa, and she's a robot.
I know.
Okay, so Travis has made...
Take another picture.
Yeah, I will. Travis has made this tiny, tiny salt circle on the table.
I want to capture a tiny ghost.
Yeah, I was about to say, to protect yourself from the tiniest ghost. Which, also, the most adorable ghost.
Yeah.
Ooh, what if it's those, like, a tinier version of those spirit things from Princess Mononoke?
Oh yeah.
Like the little white holy guys
I would keep
who
'em-
click.
I would keep him trapped on my nightstand.
Mean, you gotta let that guy live.
Well, I mean,
He's gotta follow his dreams.
I would feed him and stuff.
Rude. All right, so any final thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, hopes, dreams, wishes?
There you go. Just pointing towards you.
What does it say? Does it say live from New York? It's Saturday night?
No.
Damn it. It says,
It's 3 H's.
hey. It
Oh.
says,
H. Holmes.
oh. Hutch.
That was really hard to write in that fucking paper towel.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, you persevered, and we're richer for it, I guess.
We're poorer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we.
Yeah,
really
we're
are.
definitely that.
Yeah, because we didn't invest in Bitcoin.
So,
So.
that's all I have to say about the episode. Oh, wait, except this. Fuck hunters for not being good tippers.
Yeah.
Fuck them. All right? I understand your life is hard and you don't have a lot of money. If you're going to go out and get food, you better fucking tip well.
Yeah.
Because those people need money too.
20 to 30% minimum.
Yeah. Yes.
I say at least $1.50 per drink.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And if you're in like a restaurant and you're getting food, I mean, here in Alabama, it's easy.
Yeah.
You can just double the tax,
Yeah.
Yep.
or do the thing where you just move the decimal point over and then multiply that by 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
What we're saying is it's real easy to tip at least 20%.
Yeah.
They have jobs too, and they're just as important as yours. So,
Yeah.
thanks, hunters of the world. All right. Anyways, that's my final thought. That's my final thing to share about this episode.
So you said the next episode is called Crossroads Blues?
Yeah, it's gonna be so good.
All right.
I have a really sneaking suspicion I can't tell what it's supposed to be.
Sam
I have
and
a sneaking
Dean.
suspicion that you're gonna like this episode a lot.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah,
for
I think
realsies.
you're really gonna like it because it combines 2 of your favorite things.
What's that?
Crossroads and blues.
Thanks.
Yeah. You do love Crossroads.
And blues. Clues.
So let's see. Sam and Dean.
May not even be about them.
Sam and Dean go to see a lawyer. And their lawyer is like, don't worry about your troubles. I know a guy. So, next thing Sam and Dean know, they're in the middle of a desert with a bunch of meth.
Goddamn knew it.
and,
A little bald guy is
and
there.
Bob Odenkirk is there, and he's like, don't worry about it. I know a guy.
You know what? You started out so well. Because you're kind of right, and then you're very wrong.
Yeah.
Well, Travis, I don't know if that's going to happen.
No.
But if it does, we'll talk about it on Hey Assbutt.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening.
Follow us on social media at Hey Assbutt on social media places.
Wow, that's totally wrong. It's at Habcast.
Oh, you're right.
Don't look up Hey Assbutt. You will find this podcast, but you will not find our Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram pages.
No, you'll probably find it.
Yeah, eventually. Or you might find several fan blogs. Very possible.
Yeah.
Check us out on, well, if you found us on iTunes, please like and subscribe and leave a review.
Yes.
That goes for anywhere where you can leave a review. Please do that. Follow us on Spotify. We're on there now.
Yeah, basically anywhere where podcasts can be found.
Check us out.
You can find us there.
And you can probably leave a review. So please do it.
Yeah.
We would super appreciate it. Because that's how we get the show out there. And have a good life.
Yeah.
And tip well.
And tip well. And don't get fucked up by the ghost of H.A. Jones.
Yeah.
Those are really the lessons learned from this episode. Tip well. Sometimes you just have to go up to actually tall and ask, what the fuck is Homestuck and who gives a shit? And then he gives you a lecture.
Yep.
I still don't know what's going on, but if I found out Homestuck was responsible for 9/11, I wouldn't be surprised.